Hi, everyone. My name is Gabor. I'm a CIO of a major bank. You know what I really love about AI vendors? They all promise that they can solve a problem with context. Months ago, an AI vendor came to us and analyzed our system and recommended to move everything to cloud, even our mainframe system from 1978, which literally runs on hope and COBOL prayers. So when Abelman's guys came to us and told us that they have a context engineering platform, I felt that I heard this song before. But they can prove it within 7 minutes, so challenge accepted.
All right, so I have 6 minutes, 20 seconds now to deliver on this challenge.
Exactly.
Hi, Gabor. You're right. AI these days is about context engineering. We've arrived at that stage where the context that you're able to feed AI is what determines the answers that you get. This is why we built Abelmans with the mind to deliver context to AI in the best way about your ecosystem. So we've organized into systems module, data module, process module, and architecture module. Within all of those modules, the information we give to AI is actually structured. Not only do we feed AI structured data, but we structure it ourselves. So if you look at, for instance, system context comprehension, we let you actually self-service put all the information about your systems into our engine, and we also structure it. So our engines actually digest all your documentation, all of your code, all of your audio, or whatever you have on the system, and it also processes the code to get a deeper understanding of all of that structure of the code. It gives it metadata, it gives the logical structuring of your system, and it puts this back into the contextual understanding about the systems that you need. Why is this important? Because once you have this context, once the system has this contextual understanding about your systems, you can not only ask it questions and look at the documentation, which is boring stuff, but our agents can use it to develop processes and do all sorts of nifty things with it.
Beautiful. It looks really, really great. So we have the context engine. How to leverage it? What is it good for?
You're right. I mean, context in and of itself is something good for AI and maybe, okay, nifty for IT people to read about systems and ask questions. But in and of itself, business value comes elsewhere. So one of the engines that we developed is the process flow engine, where in the process module, we actually have a template full of processes. The one we sometimes use on our demo is the by-end processes, but we also work with ISO, FIBO, whatever standard processes are out there. So when we go to an organization, we have a standard template or a standard set of processes which the organization can use. Again, context that the AI can use and the people can use once the business is developing a process that they want to go to market with. That repository is there for the AI to work with. The other nifty bit of magic, once we have those process catalogs on there, is once the business decides they like this and they tinker with it a little, they upload documents, they give it a little more flavor, they add steps, delete steps, they convert it into a BPMN. Our magic starts there. You press this little button called Generate Able Flow, and it actually goes into the systems context understanding, which we talked before. It finds the exact service endpoints and parameters needed for that process. So basically, what Mark is doing in the background is he's actually deploying a process while we talk here. So once he presses the Generate Able Flow button, chooses the core system of your liking, which you work with in your systems, the system will assemble from the core system and also from the other systems all the necessary endpoints, the exact endpoints that are best fitting to that process, and also give you some tips on whether the process that you invented is compliant with your requirements, your business requirements, your legal requirements, and lets your teams deploy that process in a faster way. So when the business comes and has a need for you to deliver on, now you're delivering within, let's say, minutes and days rather than months and months and months as you were before.
It looks really amazing, and I'm pretty sure that it works with the well-designed modern systems. But the companies like us always suffering with legacy systems. As I mentioned, we have COBOL and whatnot, and all these things were not well designed, well documented and whatnot. So how does it work with legacy systems?
You must be suffering from some COBOL pain, because I think the second time you mentioned it. I think a lot of people are suffering, maybe not from COBOL pain, but some from legacy pain. So part of the thing that we have done with this context as well, with all the systems understanding, with the mapping and deep embedding of not just the code, but the documentation, we've created something called a knowledge-based constructor. The knowledge-based constructor works from code also to documentation and service interface discovery and documentation, but you can use it also on the forward path of the software development lifecycle. On the reverse path, what we like to do is take your, let's say, blind spot, which you have. This kind of legacy code is a blind spot in terms of what, how you document it and whatnot. We plug in the code, whether it's COBOL or whatever else, and then our system develops layers of documentation, the first layer being very close to the code, so technical level documentation, ASTs, call graphs, all these things that the software coders understand. And then once that's approved, that becomes part of the knowledge base, and then we create the other layers of documentation. In and of itself, again, documentation is fun, but this documentation documents not only the system and the code and the depth of understanding, again, building context, but it also documents the service interfaces, the service parameters used in your COBOL program. So all of a sudden, that blind spot which you had is no longer a blind spot. And when we were talking about the process cataloging before, now that blind spot is actually taking a role. You can develop your processes using not just the legacy code and the microservices interfaces, but you can develop it throughout your whole ecosystem. Does that sound like I'm solving your problem?
Yeah, definitely. So just to see that Abelmans gives us the possibility to build up our knowledge base, the context engine, have the possibility to document it even if it's not documented, the possibility to use a low-code, no-code flow platform, what we can provide to the business to design their flows by their own. And also, it's able to understand my legacy systems as well. It's really amazing. I'm absolutely convinced that it works.
I'm happy. Again, context is important. So if you're giving AI just documents and prompts, it's going to give you variable answers. An enterprise cannot live with variable answers. The problem we have solved is giving it the right context at the right time in the right form makes it deterministic answers, as deterministic as you can get, so you can use it in your enterprise level to solve your problems.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.